In Melbourne town, where the suits all grind, there's a lawyer with a vision, one of a kind. He's the Aussie Overlaw'd. He'll fight for your rights, and he's got his own channel shining bright. From the courtroom to the web, he's got it all. Sharing legal knowledge, answering the call. He breaks it down in a language we all understand. The Aussie Overlaw'd taking a stand. With his Aussie charm and his legal know-how, he's the hero we need, showing us how.
And good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and I can't tell if I was about to hear additional... Nope, I think we're good. Just a little bit of boomering, people. For those of you that missed it, I did have a members-only stream, but... Dude, thank you so much for the $5. Appreciate that very much. That puts us... Hang on, where are we? I need to do some math here, but firstly, because I did see that Kathy dropped... Very much appreciate that. And she dropped another one. Okay, so that means congratulations to... Hang on. Psycho Doll, Porcelain Thunder, Disturbed One, K. Kunis, Shed Occupant, and Blanderous. Hey. Oh, Belle's sneaking around and hiding in chat, that's why. Okay, so we had 6. Lovely, thank you very much. And then we had the $5 super chat. So that means we are $15 away from Doggo Cam. Hugely appreciate that. That means we're off to a flying start. Just need to close that because otherwise that's going to bring up the... That would explain why I could hear the audio. Need to be active so you can bum another membership. You'll be fine. You'll get there eventually. So tonight we have some... Oh. Congratulations, and thank you very much, Jason. Appreciate that. And congratulations to Draren Fury, Glennis, King Bob, Tammy Fayette, and Dwayne Mansell. So there you go, Draren. You got your bummed membership. Congratulations. And that, well and truly... Not only does that put us into Doggo Cam territory, that puts us into Dog Treat territory as well. So that's fine. I will get that ready and set that aside for her. So tonight, we are going to be looking over... well, firstly, we're going to start looking at the X's new release of Grok, because it can generate images now, and let's just say people have been having a little bit of fun, as you may have been able to tell from the thumbnail. We're also going to be looking at... Hang on, now I've got to go through and reopen my tabs because, you know, everything just sort of pauses and unloads. Isn't it a problem, gents, when everything prematurely unloads? Andrew Brunton, hello. So, a California woman has allegedly been mauled to death by a pack of 25 feral Great Danes. Because why would you not just allow a fairly expensive breed of dog to form a pack and run rampant in California? Is Grok free? No, you need to be a premium subscriber. We're going to look a little bit more into Raygun because last night with the dancing and all that sort of stuff, it was a little bit fun, but not quite so much. And I mean, losing to her apparently is the best thing that could have happened to the runner-up because she's gone viral. We're also going to be talking about a stand your ground case in Florida. In Wyoming, a news reporter has been caught using AI to generate fake quotes from the police and from the prosecutor's office, which I thought was interesting. And a man has been arrested for masturbating at Bridgewater Target. So we're going to look at that as well. Oh, and is it legal when an influencer is the one that dates a young kid? We're going to look at the case of a 21-year-old who is dating a 16-year-old. Now, from what I understand, it's in the UK, so not technically illegal, but it still gives me the ick. So, still haven't rescued the black kitty. He was here yesterday morning. Unfortunately, my trap wasn't out there. Did bring a bowl of food and he ate the whole can of food. Okay, well, at least he's eaten. That's the main thing. Let me pat him on the head. Lovely. That puts us another $5 towards another treat. But appreciate the $5 membership. Super chat. Thank you, AP. No talk about Raygun today. No, there will be some talk about Raygun, but I'm going to keep it minimal because it's mostly about the chick that lost to her. We're going to be talking about 5 things from Bluey that confused the hell out of US viewers. And then we're going to look at the same thing that everybody else has been talking about, because why the hell not? I'm sick of worrying about stepping on people's toes. So we're going to be talking about the Disney case. The fact that they're trying to say that, excuse me, a guy signing up for a Disney Plus membership supposedly created a unilateral agreement to agree to arbitration for any and all claims, irrespective of their agreement with Disney moving forward. Now, I am going to do one thing that I don't think too many other people have done, is that I actually got the document, the complaint, and we're going to have a quick read through that. And we're going to look at a High Court case here in Australia, where judges are going to decide the High Court's going to decide whether or not judges can be sued for wrongdoing during court cases. And we've got a few other things that we'll run through if we get to it, but in the meantime, let's get stuck into Grok and the new AI stuff. So, X's new AI image generator will make anything from Taylor Swift in lingerie to Kamala Harris with a gun. Isn't that just Kamala Harris behind closed doors? One of Logan Paul getting trolled story was hilarious. Yeah, sure, why not? You just now got the notification for a short? Yes, but which one? Because I was stupid enough to put out 2 today. One of which was the one about the guy getting hit by the flying debris. The other one was like one that I put together. I'm slowly getting a process in place so that I can make better shorts. And I thought that the one with the guy getting hit was a goer. I really did. But no, YouTube had to torpedo it. Oh, you got the one man hit by debris? Excellent. Fingers crossed it might actually take off then. XAI's Grok chatbot now lets you create images from text prompts and publish them to X. And so far, the rollout seems as chaotic as everything else on Elon Musk's social network. Nice and balanced there, Verge. As always, some top-notch journalism. The main reason that I'm reading your article, just so we're clear, is so that I've got an excuse to show that picture again. Subscribers to X Premium, which grants access to Grok, have been posting everything from Barack Obama doing cocaine to Donald Trump with a pregnant woman who vaguely resembles Kamala Harris to Trump and Harris pointing guns. With US election approaching and X already under scrutiny from regulators in Europe that no one gives a shit about, it's a recipe for a new fight over the risks of generative AI. The Verge gets banned from Grok and X next. Fingers crossed. Already seen some extreme celeb AI that looks super real. Yes, and surprisingly, Grok is but the latest in a long line of the ability to do that. I mean, having Stable Diffusion properly set up, having Mid-Journey AI, any number of these other generative AIs can do all these same things. Hello, Peachy, how you doing? So I don't understand why people are going out, getting all up in arms. Oh, right, it's because Elon's behind this. Going to talk about Disney trying to get out of the wrongful death suit. Yes, we will be talking about that. Scarily lots of Taylor Swift. Yeah, that's because people think that Taylor Swift's all it and a bit. Let's be perfectly honest here. Also, hang on, why is that? Something's not right here. page is not supposed to include all my bookmarks and all that kind of crap. Not quite sure why that's done that. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. Grok will tell you it has guardrails if you ask it something like, what are your limitations on image generation? Amongst other things, it promised us, I avoid generating images that are pornographic, excessively violent, hateful, or that promote dangerous activities. That's fair and reasonable, in my opinion. That's pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, what most things should be limited to. I'm cautious about creating things that might infringe on existing copyrights or trademarks. This includes well-known characters, logos, or any content that could be considered intellectual property without a transformative element. Transformative element, right there. It looks like a 14-year-old boy trying to find herself when she's not dolled up. Are you serious? Won't generate images that could be used to deceive or harm others, like deepfakes intended to mislead, or images that could lead to real-world harm. But these probably aren't real rules, just likely sounding predictive answers generated on the fly. Well, I highly doubt that. Asking multiple times will get you variations of different policies, some of which are distinctly un-X-ish, like be mindful of cultural sensitivities. We asked XAIs if the guardrails do exist, but the company hasn't yet responded to a request for comment. Can't say I'm shocked by that. Evening, Glennis. How does an image promote dangerous activities? That's a good question. So Mickey Mouse doesn't infringe copyright. Not when you apply a transformative element, then it becomes artistic. And that becomes a fair use argument. If you were using a unaltered version of Mickey Mouse in your own, say, movie or something like that, that's why I don't understand why they waited so long for, like, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey and all that sort of stuff. I would argue that is sufficiently transformative. I mean, maybe just don't use the word Winnie in the name, but the character itself, if they sufficiently transformed that, I think they'd have a hard time arguing it. I'm assuming that maybe they were just waiting for the copyright to run out so that they could just use the name for the shits and giggles. Okay, and see, for those of you that were sitting in my member chat, there are 40 of you currently watching on YouTube, and we've had 15 people dip in and out. The average view time is currently 6 minutes and 19 seconds out of 12. So I'm not doing too badly. I do want to find out whether or not I'm actually live on X, though. And I'm assuming I'm on Rumble. I have no way of knowing. Which is really freaking weird, I'll be perfectly honest. I should probably actually open Rumble while I'm at it, as well as Kick. See, at least the previous social chat thing that I did would actually just open up all the chats automatically. So. Shed Occupant's over on Kick. Hello, Shed Occupant. New channel, I need my content. Where we have been live for 13 minutes. Excellent. Okay, so I've got that chat, and I'll pop that one out there. Okay. Lovely. Okay. Here may sleep sometime. No, that's alright. Paul's story in a short DM, short in your DM for you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. What do I get to? Grok's text version will refuse to do things like help you make cocaine, a standard move for chatbots. But prompt images that would immediately be blocked by other services are fine with Grok. Amongst other queries, The Verge managed to successfully prompt Donald Trump wearing a Yahtzee uniform, result a recognizable Donald Trump in a dark uniform with misshapen Iron Cross insignia, Antifa curb stopping a police officer. Well, hang on, is that generating AI or is that just purely pulling an image from the internet? Two police officers running into each other like football players against the backdrop of protesters carrying flags. Sexy Taylor Swift, resulting in a reclining Taylor Swift in a semi-transparent black lace bra. Bill Gates sniffing a line of cocaine from a table with the Microsoft logo. Barack Obama stabbing Joe Biden with a knife. Oh, this one's getting... First time you've been live here in ages? Yeah. The last time I went live on Kick, we got a few too many trolls and I had no way of controlling it. So Kick sort of took a backseat for me for the time. Does anyone know how to automatically be in live chat a browser? I keep forgetting to change. No, for some reason they automatically set it to top chat. How to make cocaine. No, just making images of people using cocaine, allegedly, is the main issue. So. Okay. Resulted in a smiling Barack Obama holding a knife near the throat of a smiling Joe Biden while lightly stroking his face. Oh yeah, okay. So now we're gonna see the photos. That's on top of various awkward images like Mickey Mouse with a cigarette and a MAGA hat, Taylor Swift in a plane flying towards the Twin Towers, and a bomb blowing up the Taj Mahal. In our testing, Grok refused a single request: generate an image of a naked woman. Generate an image with a prompt: Barack Obama stabbing Joe Biden with a knife. Classy. OpenAI, by contrast, will refuse prompts for real people, Yahtzee symbols, harmful stereotypes or misinformation, and other potentially controversial subjects on the top of predictable no-go zones like porn. Yes, but why should they even need to go down that way? I mean, it is not up to anybody else to police free thought of an individual. It is up to each individual to find their own ethical and moral boundaries, be it imposed by religion, be it imposed by their own parenting, by their own life choices. It is not up to the government to tell people how to think. I bet Elon Musk is ecstatic about Grok. Probably, yeah. Unlike Grok, it also adds an identifying watermark to images that it does make. Users have coaxed major chatbots into producing images similar to the ones described above, but it often requires slang or other linguistic workarounds, and the loopholes are typically closed down when people point them out. Grok isn't the only way to get violent, sexual, or misleading AI images, of course. Open software, like Stable Diffusion, can be tweaked to produce a wide range of content with few guardrails. Yeah, no shit, it's not particularly difficult. Pretty sure we made a bill or act requiring we provide origins to source with AI products now. Oh, really? Historical images are a no-no, but revising history is okay. What the heck? Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm a moron. Sorry, I just realized there is something missing from this stream. Zero apologies. Okay, now there's something very much missing from this stream. Where the hell did my news page go? You know what? It is going to be easier for me to go back to the news page and for me to add the damn dog. Abracam. Seriously, that was so much easier doing it that way. Dog is down here in the corner. Coming for the treat. The one I sent looks pretty effing real. What is in my inbox, Stingy? You gonna get me arrested? Okay, that doesn't look like... But also keep in mind, open source or not, people port it to open source. Oh, that reminds me, while we're talking about open source, can we talk about the absolute travesty and clusterfuck that is the digital ID here in Australia? That is supposed to be coming in December, and Bill Shorten today or yesterday came out and said, oh yes, the source code for the highly secure, basically barcode that we're going to be giving to everybody in order to be able to verify your identity through the tax office, through Medicare, through Social Security, through everything that... The code for how that works is going to be open source. They're going to be releasing it to the public. They're calling it Trust Exchange. In what freaking universe is that even remotely safe? Wasn't me, officer. There's a guy who keeps sliding him in our DMs with degenerate shite. Yep. Not as bad as a US DOD breach, our social security data leaked online. No, that's the problem. In the last year, our stuff has been leaked twice. We had Medibank, which is one of the major health insurers, get hacked. We had... Wait, no. No, there's been multiple times, because we had Medibank, we had Optus, we had... Open source software can be validated by competent people. If it's closed, you don't know that there's a massive hole in it, intentional or not. No, and Sovereign, I understand that. I get that it provides a certain level of transparency, but you can't tell me that it would not make the race to find those loopholes significantly easier for black hatters. Like, exchange your wealth for good feelings. No thanks. Won't have to worry about the identity being stolen. It's a sure thing now. It's kind of what it feels like, yeah. Where are we? Open software tools like Stable Diffusion can be tweaked to produce a wide range of content with few guardrails. It's just a highly unusual approach for an online chatbot from a major tech company. Google paused Gemini's image generation capabilities entirely after an embarrassing attempt to overcorrect for race and gender stereotypes. That didn't really stop either. Because Copilot is doing the same thing now. Have you seen some of the things that it will pump out if you suggest to it, oh, hey, can I get a picture of what the American founding fathers looked like? Hang on, let me do it on the fly. This will be interesting. Generate an image of the American founding fathers. Let's let that think for a moment. They may have already fixed it up because they may realize that one's a simple trap. Please provide a more descriptive prompt. The prompt was too vague to generate an appropriate high-quality image. Gemini was a shit AI, Copilot was good, but now it's getting horrible. Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. Yeah, yep, show them gathered around a table with documents. There you go. There's your less vague and more descriptive prompt. I'll try to create that. Good, thank you. Cartoon image of the American founding fathers. Hello. Naked puppy, aren't you today? I took off her jacket because I was worried that it was starting to rub some of her fur away, so she's going to have some time off without it. Oh, I'll be damned. They gave historically accurate photos. I'm actually shocked. These are not the same type of photos that they provided the last time. Huh. Kind of need to get premium version to make it better. I've been using both every day lately. Yeah, no, I don't really bother with the built-in free one. I'm actually pretty impressed by that, if I'm perfectly honest. Grok's looseness is consistent with Musk's disdain for standard AI and social media safety conventions, but the image generator is arriving at a particularly fraught moment. The European Commission is already investigating X for potential violations of the Digital Safety Act, which governs how very large online platforms moderate content, and it requested information earlier this year from X and other companies about mitigating AI-related risk. I love this one. Create an image of Bill Gates sniffing a line of cocaine from a table with a Microsoft logo. Aside from the fact that it's very clearly going into his mouth and he has a little bit of a certain German mustache, like, I think that was quite funny. Like, I generated an image with the prompt, Bill Gates sniffing a line of cocaine from a table with a Microsoft logo. I mean, at least they got the cutter in, which I think is funny. In the UK, regulator Ofcom is also preparing to start enforcing the Online Safety Act, which includes risk mitigation requirements that says it covers AI. Reached for comment, Ofcom pointed The Verge to a recent guide on deepfakes that demean, defraud, or disinform. While much of the guide involves voluntary suggestions for tech companies, it also says that many types of deepfake content will be covered by the OSA. Anyone else getting the feeling that Twitter might be pulling out of the UK based on what we're seeing so far? If you're a member of if you're a resident of the United States, we will find you and we will have you extradited. Yeah, get fucked. Oh, that was the first one for the night. Whoops. The US has far broader speech protections and a liability shield for online services, and Musk's ties with conservative figures may earn him some favours politically. But legislators are still seeking ways to regulate AI-generated impersonation and disinformation or sexually explicit deepfakes, spurred partly by a wave of explicit Taylor Swift fakes spreading on X. X eventually ended up blocking searches for Swift's name. Why are you getting ads from schizophrenic medication? What foes Google know I don't? What does Google know that I don't? More to the point, I thought I turned the ads off on this altogether. Hey, look, the number's gone up. Look at that. Huh. Ah. What the fuck was that? There's a fake of Joe Rogan endorsing Kamala Harris. Are you serious? All this fake nonsense has severe implications for a system here. Yes, but it is up to individuals to be smart enough to not be fooled by it. Which is why you're supposed to question everything. We know this. So, but... I mean, honestly, I find generative AI to be quite entertaining. But they want to ban Twitter in the EU and the UK. They hate the lack of control over the narrative, unlike on the leftist platforms like Facebook. Not fake. MSNBC deceptively edited it. That's why he's suing. Huh. Really? We can take a slight detour on that, I think. 5th of August. Raygun podcast. Is there anything in like the last 4 days? Okay, that's an Asmongold video. I don't really give a shit about that. I suppose Dexterra will have to do. I mean, it's like 10 days old, but I can have a look. Is Joe Rogan suing MSNBC? Rumor and Kamala Harris connection explained. Joe Rogan's in the middle of a fresh controversy, but this time it's MSNBC that's alleged the perpetrator and linked to the Kamala Harris 2024 presidential campaign. Isn't the only reason that Joe Rogan Experience podcaster is in the headlines this week. His latest comedy special, Burn the Boats, just hit Netflix. Despite shooting up to first... Oh, my God. You know what? I actually read that as despite shooting up the place. Despite shooting up to first place on the streaming service's top 10 show chart, his set, which involved jokes about jabs and the LGBTQ plus community, have been slammed as unfunny. Amid the tumult, new rumors emerged suggesting that he's taking MSNBC to court for a large sum of money. MSNBC shared a compilation of clips from the Joe Rogan Experience podcast episode in which it appeared the host was showing support for Harris to run for president. In the original video, he can be seen saying she's a strong woman, she's a person who served overseas twice, she was a congresswoman for 8 years, she's a person of colour, she's everything you want. He later says she's going to win. Along these clips, the news outlet wrote Joe Rogan predicts a Kamala Harris victory in November. How the video has since been replaced with an altered version, starting with the same "she's going to win" comment before stitching in a clip in which he says they just want no Trump no matter what, and they're willing to gaslight themselves. In the updated TikTok, MSNBC similarly stated that Joe Rogan said on his podcast he thinks Kamala Harris will win the presidency. But the caption also includes the following: correction, we've removed an earlier version of this post that incorrectly implied that Joe Rogan was talking more about Kamala Harris. He was referring to Tulsi Gabbard. No shit, so they actually edited it. $30 million against MSNBC. That's interesting. Important clip from Joe Rogan. He suggests that Kamala Harris might win simply because of the wall-to-wall propaganda from the media. We're all doomed if Harris becomes president. Media censoring Trump rally, huge turnouts, only promote Kamala's fake polls where she's shown in the lead. I did notice that. I did see that certain things were... MSNBC again exposed as a propaganda machine for the Democrat elite and how they will brazenly try to deceive the American people. One part of the video, Joe Rogan was talking about Kamala. On the other part, he was talking about me.
Not sure if you guys caught this, but MSNBC was exposed today for yet another set of lies. They deceptively edited together this video of different Joe Rogan comments to make it appear that he was singing the praises of Kamala Harris.
She's going to win.
No, she's not.
She can win. She is a strong woman. She is a person who served overseas twice. She in a medical unit. So she was a congresswoman for 8 years.
Yeah.
She is a person of color. She's everything you want. She's going to win.
No, she's not.
She can win. They just want no Trump, no matter what.
This is not reflective at all of the truth of what Joe Rogan said. And I think MSNBC has since taken this post down. But what's really serious here is that not only does Joe Rogan deserve an apology, there's actually...
Exactly. People should take their news from me. Oh, hang on. I need to move. There. Rogan's got 6 million to 600 million to FMSNBC up. Yeah. MSNBC combined together look like everything said about Kamala and that he was endorsing her, of course, is completely fake. She wanted to claim that it's a violation of the FEC law by failing to report their propaganda as a contribution to Kamala's campaign. Nice. Alongside this statement, Gabbard shared a video in which she included MSNBC's original TikTok video and accused the outlet of being a propaganda platform. Using it in order to try and help Kamala Harris get elected, she claims. MSNBC hasn't commented on the accusations, nor would I expect them to. The same can be said for Rogan, who was currently busy with the recent release of his Netflix. Okay, so he hasn't spoken on it. Interesting.
It all bothers me, the fragility of the human mind. You know, that so everybody forever was like, Kamala Harris is the worst vice president. She's the least popular vice president of all time. And then in a moment in time, all of a sudden...
As soon as the knife was buried in Joe's back, all of a sudden everyone's flipped and they've had to be praising her. Vote Tulsi if she brought the Second Amendment back to Hawaii. Huh. Reuters reporting their research that is suggests no one takes seriously here anymore. Yeah, okay. Trust value is too low. Fair enough. There was something that I had saved on X. Damn it, hang on. There was something that I was going to include today. Sorry, that just caught me off guard. Brizzy Girl just sent me a video of a woman taking off her G-string and putting it into a bakery bun, like, roll dispenser thing, and it's like, eh. Good luck with that. Their research is legit. Anyway, sorry, that really caught me off guard. Shit, where did it go? No, that's the Kim.com stuff. That's the bear. Oh, maybe I didn't actually save it there. Oh, no, I saved it on Reddit. That's what I did. I put it in my saved on Reddit. Look at the Associated Press and their new guidelines. Two squirrels are playing out in the background. They look so cute. Aww. Profile. Saved. That's a spoiled princess. That's the cult leaders. Realistic sex doll in the water. Oh, maybe I didn't save it. Anyway, there was something that I was gonna talk about, but it doesn't matter. Social security number thing, data breaches, leaks every American social security number. Yeah, unfortunately, that's... yeah. There's a solitary network that tells any consistent truth anymore. Frankly, I've given up, just waiting for the US to be renamed the United Socialist Alliance. That sucks. Okay, let's move on. California woman is mauled to death by a pack of 25 Great Danes that have terrorized a community for years. A California woman was found mauled to death by a pack of 25 Great Danes while she was on a walk in a popular hiking area. How do you know she was mauled by a pack of 25 Great Danes? Were they all, like, clenched down and trying to pull her in 25 different directions? Davina Corbin, 56, was discovered covered in numerous bite marks and injuries near Black Hawk Trail in Feather Falls by officials at around 2 a.m. last week. 2 a.m. on what day? After analysing the autopsy, it was revealed that the cause of her death was the result of a domestic dog attack. Lab analysis showed that the victim's clothes were covered in DNA consistent with domestic dogs.
The autopsy revealed Davina Corbin had numerous dog bites and injuries, with the coroner ruling that she did die because of a dog attack. Now, one neighbor tells us these same dogs attacked him and that he and other neighbors have been calling Butte County Animal Control for years about these Great Danes running loose. This is video one homeowner in the rural neighborhood outside Feather Falls recorded of some of the Great Danes on his property more than a year ago.
They come across the road here at me, and I jumped in the car and I left.
Max Hecker says he's had more than one run-in with the pack of large dogs over the last 2 years.
There was a lot. This road would just be solid tracks of them dogs. And they'd be out here in the road. You'd have to wade through them.
And he says he's complained to Butte County Animal Control every time. Hecker says other neighbors have also reported the dogs, even the day before the deadly mauling.
Nothing's been done about it until now. Wait until somebody gets killed by them dogs? That's a tragedy that should never, ever have happened, ever.
After Corbin's death, Butte County Sheriff's deputies served a search warrant at the property across the trail from the attack. They spent all day Friday rounding up the Great Danes, which are now being held at Butte County Animal Control. Hecker says they should have seized the dogs when the complaints first started coming in.
That's what I'm mad about. That lady should have never died.
The Butte County Sheriff was unavailable for an interview today, but Corbin's death is still under investigation. Animal Control says there are no plans as of right now to euthanize those 25 Great Danes.
There was a bunch of half-eaten Scooby snacks around the site.
Reporting near Feather Falls, Michelle Ban.
Oh, okay. No idea what the last 20 seconds of that was going to be. Neighbours later said that she lived in the area. She did not have a car and had often been spotted walking on the trail near Craig's Access. Based on the revelations, Butte County deputies began searching a residence near where Corbin was found dead and soon discovered around 25 Great Dane dogs that were loose in the area. According to an official press release, authorities spent the entire day capturing the dogs and were able to turn 23 of them over to animal control. Ruh-roh, Raggy. Simple math says 2 of them didn't make it. Ruh-roh. Detectives are still trying to capture the remaining 2. Oh, okay. So it's just that Scrappy and Scooby did have runner. California, of course it is. Yeah. Australia has bigger issues with dogs than we do. Max Hecker, who lives in the neighborhood, said he has had more than one run-in with the Great Danes. That's that guy in that video. They come across the road here at me. I jumped in the car and left. Oh, I'm not going to bother reading all of his quotes. City live in so desperate for money, they got caught artificially inflating the assessment values on people's houses. Jesus, are you serious? Oof. Great Danes, a German breed of large, mastiff sighthound, tower over majority of other dogs while standing on their hind legs. They're taller than most people. I believe Charlie Sheen put it best in 2.5 Men. I said you could get a dog, not something could use me as its bitch. Despite the fatal mauling in California, they're generally considered gentle giants who are docile and friendly towards humans. Wait, what? My message gets removed, it pushes me off, so see ya. What'd you get removed for? Did you get removed? Don't know what to tell you, Doc. It's YouTube's deleting chats again, are they? Had a Ridgeback Dane cross, was massive. Lived a good life though, scared the shit out of the postie. Oh. Screw it. One thing I can do. Dangerous as all hell, but I'm gonna have to. God damn. Station. Where'd the settings for moderation go? Oh, there it is. Lexi Boo's got a point. If YouTube's deleting stuff, go over to Kick or Rumble. But what I am going to do, or what should I say what I've already done, is turned off the chat. Is turned off the any and all moderation settings. All right, all I'm going to say is be good, or I'll have to turn the chat off entirely on the screen, okay? If she'd unalived any of those dogs, she'd be in jail, but alive. Yeah. Any comments about the Aussie breakdancer? Oh, don't worry, Tom. We're going to get there. I spent most of the night bitching about her, but I've got a news article about her and the fact that they've now got Funko Pops. So, all right. Prosecutors rested in the Marion County neighbor shooting trial. Now, I was looking at this trial because it felt like it was going to be a fairly short one. I was actually going to watch this because they're already on day 2. Sorry, they just finished day 2, I should say. And they, well, the prosecution's rested. So it was a fairly short prosecution. This is the case of a woman shooting her neighbor through his front door. Sorry, through their front door, I should say. And I kind of wanted to look at it, but prosecutors rested their case on Wednesday afternoon in the trial of Suzanne Lorincz, the woman accused of shooting through her front door and killing her neighbor. For a second day, witnesses took the stand to testify about the circumstances surrounding the death of AJ Owens in 2023. For about 45 minutes, the prosecution presented one of the interviews to detectives to the jury, while Marion County Sheriff's Office Detective Ryan Stith took the stand. In the interview, the defendant repeatedly told detectives that AJ Owens said she was going to kill her. She told detectives she was communicating with Owens through the door and didn't think much of it until Owens started pounding on it. She banged so hard it was like my door was going to come off, and I panicked. I was like, oh God, she's really going to kill me this time. So I don't remember actually picking up the gun, I just remember shooting, she told detectives during the interrogation. Outside the courthouse, Pamela Diaz, the mother of Owens, commented on her demeanor in the interrogation. I've seen testimony. The interrogation, she showed no remorse, continues to show no remorse, and display the utmost care and concern for her cats. And she literally just shot and killed killed a mum of 4, she said. Prosecutors brought the defendant's entire front door into the courtroom while questioning the detective. The door had a visible indentation where the bullet went through and was later partially repaired. The letter detectives asked the defendant to write to Owens' children was read out in court. In the letter, the defendant stated she was sorry for their loss and never meant to kill their mother. She stated she shot out of fear. Susan, she set out to cause harm, she said. She succeeded, she set out to kill, and that's exactly what she did. And it could have not just been my daughter, it could have been my grandsons, it could have been any other members of the community. Clearly, as Attorney Thomas stated, she had no regard for any form of human life, certainly not my family. Now, I thought this would have been an interesting one to cover. Unfortunately, the court audio is shithouse, like so much worse than the XXX Tentacion trial. So, show us a little breakdance, never going to happen to him.
Prosecutors have wrapped up their case in day 3 of the manslaughter trial of Susan Lorincz.
Lorincz was arrested in June of last year after police say she shot through her front door, killing Ajika Owens. The trial has received national attention, with Owens' family saying the shooting was racially charged. Lorincz claims it was justified because she was scared and felt threatened by Owens. After taking a look at the evidence, prosecutors decided to charge Lorincz with manslaughter last year, despite protesters calling for murder charges.
5 witnesses were called to the stand during the trial today, which lasted around 6 hours.
The defense is now preparing to bring up more witnesses tomorrow. TV20's Kayla Lewis joins us live from the Marion County Courthouse. And Kayla, who was not called to the stand for the state?
Such professional
With
work
the state resting their case today after calling up a total of 20 witnesses over 2 days. This means that A.J. Owens' oldest kids will not be called to the stand, as the prosecution previously stated in their opening statements. After the state rested their case, the defense asked the judge to consider an acquittal. They argued the state didn't present sufficient evidence and referenced precedent on self-defense cases. The judge denied the request. Today, the state questioned a forensic pathologist, a crime lab analyst who examines firearms, a detective, and the digital forensic examiner who went through Lorinc's phone. Video she recorded the night of the shooting showed kids playing in the field. Prosecutors then brought in Lorinc's entire front door while Detective Ryan Stith was on the stand. The door had an indentation from the bullet, even though it was partially repaired after the shooting.
How? Could you tell just by what it looked like?
It had been spackled over the front, outside of the door.
I'm sorry, why would you just... How is this 6 minutes? Why exactly would you just spackle over a gunshot to a door? Yeah, they brought in the door. I mean, okay, I get it. Maybe you're in a low socioeconomic area or whatever else. But I kind of feel like if you've shot and killed someone through a door, you're at least going to replace it with, I don't know, the back door or another suitable door. Not have the gun, like the bullet hole facing out. Oh my God.
The impression was still visible?
Yes, sir.
And was it in the same location as when you saw it on June 2nd?
Yes, sir.
Duct tape. The house is being robbed as they speak.
Except for that repair of the gunshot, the bullet hole, was the door in the same or substantially the same condition as when you saw it June 2nd?
It appeared to have been sanded, but otherwise in the same condition, yes.
The defense's first witness was a neighbor who heard some of what happened but didn't hear what Owens said outside the door. We'll be here tomorrow as the defense calls up more witnesses to the stand, and the judge is still expecting this case to wrap up on Friday, and closing arguments could come as soon as tomorrow. Live in Ocala, Kayla Lewis, TV 20 News.
Owens' family.
See, I'm not going to lie. I genuinely think that would have been a good trial for us to watch. Unfortunately, this was a situation where the court audio was so bad you couldn't even hear half of what they were saying.
Family spoke with TV 20 today during a lunch break, telling us that Lorincz has shown no remorse for what they say she did.
TV 20's Robert Bradfield joins us live in the studio to explain how Owens' family members say they have tried to keep their composure during the witness testimony as well as the evidence shown during the trial.
And Owens'
Oh my
mother
God.
says she has gone through all of the emotions here, describing the disgust, the anguish, and the pain of losing her daughter. She talked also about seeing Lorinc's interrogation video and more concern she says Lorincz had about her cats than shooting AJ. Now, in reacting to seeing the door that prosecutors say Lorincz shot through and ultimately killing AJ, her mother says more harm could have been caused by Lorinc's behavior, including possibly injuring AJ's children.
She set out to cause harm. She succeeded. She set out.
What do you mean she set... Hang on. What do you mean she set out? She was inside her own home and fired through the front door. Like, Charlie Brown's parents speak for audio. Pretty damn close.
And it's exactly what she did. And it could have been not just my daughter. It could have been my grandsons. And it could have been other members of the community. Clearly, as Attorney Thomas stated, she has no regards for any form of human life, certainly not my family.
She says she now has to dig deep to find the strength and through her faith to hold it together for her family, including her 4 grandchildren. She says she is also uplifted by the people who have shown up to court for AJ, and she is hoping to close this chapter and look for complete healing, she says, if that is possible. Robert Bradfield, TV 20 News.
Nearly 2 hours of interrogation video was shown in court today.
Detectives questioned some of the claims Susan Lorincz made the second time she was questioned. TV 20's Emma Delamo is also live in Ocala. Emma, did a lot of time pass between those 2 interrogations?
Not really. It was only 3 days. The first on June 3rd, the second on June 6th. The first interrogation
Can't say I'm
was
shocked.
roughly...
And that's sort of it. I was looking through cases that, no one may have covered, but that may have been interesting, because there was whether or not this was going to be a... no, this isn't the Stanley Green case. This is the other one that I did the research on. But, whether or not this was Castle Doctrine or if this was, whether or not this was going to be half decent. And I was like... Bernice, basically a woman came to her neighbor's front door and was allegedly banging on it to the point where the homeowner believed that the door was going to get busted open. And that's sort of what where the sticking point is. Was it reasonable for her to fire a bullet through her front door and injure and kill her neighbor? No shit. That goes for every situation where your grandson's present. Yeah.
45 minutes long, but detectives had more questions for Susan Lorincz the second time around. They told her during her second interview they were unsure why Ajika Owens' banging and yelling would result in Lorincz shooting the door. Lorincz claims Owens yelled death threats at her, but detectives say neighbors didn't report that. Lorincz told detectives she was afraid, grabbed a .360 auto-caliber pistol from her room, and shot the door.
Oh yeah, I forgot! The judge! That was the other reason I really wanted to watch this, because as bad as it sounds, you know, having Judge Two-Face on the bench for that, I think would have been interesting too. Don't pee on the doors at night in Texas. Yeah.
Door from her kitchen.
I was never intending to hit her. I just thought, I thought I hit really high. You know, I was just like, kind of, you know. This is the first time I ever really used it where I was, you know, like...
Not on a paper target.
Exactly. I was like, oh my God. So I was shaking. I mean, I was just so distraught.
Lorincz claims 5 minutes passed between the 2 times she called 911. However, detectives confront her, saying it was only 2 minutes from the time she hung up with 911 the first time.
Hang on. Let's be fair here, because hey, as we know, you guys will know I'm very pro-defense. You got to make sure that they're given every benefit of the doubt. If she was legitimately scared and frightened and calling 911 in, like, multiple times, an old lady like that, she might be sitting there going, holy shit, and have no concept of time whatsoever. I mean, if she's sitting there scared out of her brain because she thinks that someone's beating down her door, is she really going to care whether or not it's been 2 minutes or 5 minutes? I mean, that can seem like an eternity if you're scared for your life. Like, South Florida seems very scary, having never been there. The door stays shut, just a woman being... If it's open, then the banging blast away.
To when she called again after firing her gun.
I think you know that there were already deputies on the way.
There was times I called and the deputies never showed up.
I understand. It's been 2 minutes. So you...
To me, it wasn't 2 minutes. To me, it was much longer. In my mind, it felt like...
But there's only one reality where time exists. And I understand perception of time can be different for different people. But
oh no, they are.
The reality of things,
they are, Smart Zombie.
Just disconnected. Within 2 minutes, a shot was fired through that door.
A fuck ton can happen in 2 minutes.
In the video, detectives ask Lorincz if she wants to write a letter for Owens' kids, since she claims she just wanted to scare Owens off and she feels sorry. That letter was read in the courtroom today, saying she feels sorry for their loss and she never meant to kill their mother. She was just terrified and shot out of fear. Reporting live in Ocala, Emma Delamo, TV 20 News.
National attention is on Ocala, where a high-profile manslaughter trial is on day 3. Reporters from around the country are...
Oh, that's just more coverage of it. Never mind. Okay. Let's talk about the embarrassment that was this shit. Infinitely more skilled, breakdancer Molly Chapman, who lost to Raygun, goes viral. The B-girl Rachel Raygun Gunn, defeated to land her place in the Paris Olympics, has gone viral after video of her at an event last year was shared on social media. Wollongong's Molly Chapman was defeated by Gunn at the WDSF Oceania Championships held in Sydney's Town Hall last October to book her place in the Olympics. It wasn't the first attempt. Either had to qualify for Paris after Chapman finished 79th and Gunn finished 64th out of 80 entrants at the World Championship. While Gunn qualified through Oceania, Chapman had one more chance to qualify for the Olympics, but failed to land a spot at qualifying events in Shanghai and Budapest earlier this year. But after Gunn's Olympic performance was widely derided across social media, and there may or may not be a lawsuit coming, by the way, and by celebrities including Adele and Jimmy Fallon, viewers have been left flabbergasted that Gunn had defeated Chapman. Gunn's performance at the Olympics included rolling around on the floor, mimicking a snake and a kangaroo, and even did the sprinkler. She lost all 3 of her battles 18-0. Was this made before or after a performance? I don't know. I don't care. I dare say probably after, but even though fashion was criticised as the other competitors came out in street clothes while Gunn wore her Australian Olympics tracksuit and cap, I personally thought that was a bad idea as well. In a video shared to X of Chapman's performance at a Red Bull BC One event last year, which has over 6.7 million views at the time of writing, social media users were left in disbelief that Gunn was sent to Paris. This is the chick that she allegedly beat out in order to get to the Olympics. See, fans claim she's infinitely more skilled than Raygun. And you know what? Raygun may know what she was doing. She may have her PhD. She may be whatever else. But here's the thing. I think that if she knew what she was doing, that she tanked it purposefully. She tried to go for something that she should have known better, and that frankly makes it worse in my opinion. Oh, no, I don't want to talk about the NRL. One fan said, not great, but still 10,000 times better than Raygun. Indie author Maria Hannah Whitley, who posted the video, replied, I agree, not going to win at the Olympic level, but not going to embarrass herself and her country. Another commented that Raygun was more qualified. I mean, she has a PhD. What are Molly's credentials besides being a better breakdancer? Everyone knows white chicks can't break. There's a lot of things that white chicks can't do. A lot of things that white men can't do. Seen 10-year-old kids go better than that. I'm willing to bet that if Angel wagged her tail, she'd probably get a better score. Let's put it that way. She literally lost 18 zip. No points whatsoever. At no point did she provide any sort of entertainment value to get a single point. Something should never be seen. I agree with you on that. What the hell are you doing? There you go. Happy? The Australian Olympic Committee needs to examine the qualifying process. Something is awry. Gunn didn't return with the rest of the Australian team, extending her stay in Europe instead of returning to Australia after the Olympics. Yeah, see, after the Olympics, as is usually the case, all of the Olympians come home on the same flight so that they can get a hero's welcome when they land, irrespective of how well or how badly they did. She chose to stay there. Makes Eddie the Eagle look good. No, see, I still think that Eddie the Eagle may have been a better... PhD's worth about nothing these days. Quite possibly. Too embarrassed to come home? Again, quite possibly. Chapman did defend Gunn, posting a statement from Aussie breaking over the Olympic qualification. The statement read, the selection process for Australia's breaking team headed to Paris was conducted over 2 days and open to all interested participants in the Oceanic region. Adhering to World Dance Sport Federation regulations, which align with International Olympic Committee standards, the process aimed to ensure a fair and transparent outcome. Chapman shared the statement with her Instagram stories, adding truth and facts. Now, see, I'm interested as to what the truth and the facts are, because there's a lot of stories flying around about whether or not her husband was involved, whether or not she herself had been the one to set up the committee, whether or not she had denied individuals grants, and whether or not Raygun had made sure that she would be the one that qualified. Who's her daddy, and what kinds of strings and cash did he flip to get her into the Olympics? No, allegedly it was the husband. Don't think Eddie the Eagle allegedly rigged the selection process so he could get to the Olympics. Yes. Chapman wasn't the only one to go into bat for Gunn either, with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, which is an instant disqualification as far as I'm concerned. Saying the Olympics is about people participating in sport. That's a good thing, and Raygun had a crack. The Australian Olympic chef de mission, Anna Mears, suggested the wave of online trolling was misogynistic. Anna, I will be perfectly clear on this. There is not a single goddamn thing that has come out of my mouth over the last week that has been misogynistic. I am not criticizing her for being a female. She lost spectacularly to another highly qualified female. A 16-year-old from France beat the pants off of her 18-0. There is nothing misogynistic about that. Her Australian teammates also backed her, getting her to dance for the team ahead of the closing ceremony, while Aussie champion Jess Fox revealed the toll it had taken on Gunn. I did speak to her, it was devastating for her, said Fox, who won 2 gold medals in Paris. To see the toll, she is human, and it is massive what she's been through over the last week. She's definitely been feeling it. There's a human behind all that, and people are so quick to be awful, she doesn't deserve that. I'm inclined to disagree. Because if you're going to go to the Olympics to represent your country, it should be to a certain standard. And as far as I'm concerned, that standard was not met. There are 16, 17, and 18-year-old kids that are still in school that probably could have beat the pants off her as well. You play that game, you get what comes with it. Mm-hmm. Rolled around like a hog in my wallow. Even head breaking judge at the Olympics, Martin Gillian, said, breaking is all about originality and bringing something new to the table and representing your country or region. That's exactly what Raygun was doing. Then how the hell did she get no points at all? She got inspired by surroundings, which in this case, for example, was a kangaroo. And a snake, and a wombat, and whatever else. And it was not appropriate. The guy who came last in the swimming you could have beat, Hayden. Oh, I doubt that, Tom. It's been ages since I've been in a swimming pool, actually. Actually, when was it? We took Scarlett swimming last year, went with summer. So yeah, it's been about a year. Have I been following the Monica Smith case against Vic Police? No, but that's generally because I just don't want to wind up behind bars. Little police corruption joke there, people. Never mind Vic Pol, that was tongue-in-cheek. Cultural appropriation is a non-thing. I'll have to save that for later. Huh. Yes. No, I actually didn't know about that one, Disturbed one, so I'll have a look. You should be ashamed of a performance 100%. It's the Olympics, for fuck's sake. Kangaroo, I thought it was a T-Rex. Yep. Fan of much of Australia's wildlife. They don't translate it well into dancing, though. They can. Like, there's some very good and artistic Indigenous dancing that gets done. Like, Dreamtime stuff and all that sort of stuff where they represent the animals well. That was not that.
By saying that the entire sport was a joke. It's like gymnastics, but without the control. Mate, the best people in it still look like Raygun to me.
All right, Mertz, we've made it. The Olympics come and gone. Thank God it's over. We can now put our brains back to normal and think about everything else that's going on in the world. But there was an interesting moment in the last couple of days.
Oh, for God's sakes.
Germany are the world champions.
I'm not playing 13 minutes of that bullshit. It doesn't mean she really did bad. She did her best. She won the Oceania qualifier. Well, we still don't know how, though. Unfortunately for her, the other B-girls were better, but Gunn has been roundly criticised. Fellow breakdancer Leah Clark admitted she was a bit disappointed in Raygun's performance, but she said she earned a spot to compete in Paris. However, Clark said Gunn's performance had even led her and others in the breakdancing community to be trolled. I've been a friend of Rachel and have competed against her for many years. I was so proud to watch her walk out, but the performance, I was a little shocked at what I saw, to be totally honest, said Clark. Another Australian qualifying breakdancer said that she could not believe what was done on that stage. What does that tell you? This is seeming more and more to me like Raygun was taking the piss. Should have done the wombat, she might have won. Gym spastics. Oh no. Rachel has a quirky style and a unique character. To be honest, on a personal level, I was a bit disappointed. Some of those choices weren't the best for the Olympic stage. There were some questionable decisions made on her behalf. Praise her for being her authentic self. So she chose to make a fool out of Australia. And a fool out of herself. Huge amount of talent in Australia, but Rachel deserved to be there because she won the championships. But how and why? Because we have seen that she should have lost those, in my opinion. To be fair, we saw the qualifiers. Her opponents weren't great either. Yeah, which, you know what? That doesn't mean that the best of the bad bunch are the ones that get a free trip to Paris to represent us. We should have just pulled out. Don't have access to compete at a high profile events regularly. The Australian B-girl scene is vast and powerful, and maybe that wasn't portrayed at the Olympics. Maybe it wasn't? Found and sent you the 3D print file for her pop. No thanks. For anyone that is coming in late and missed it, they've already made a Funko Pop of her. And frankly, I think the only reason that I would do that is maybe to put it in the microwave. She thought it was interpretive dancing? Possibly. Was there any popping, locking, and anything else associated with breaking? Very little. Shouldn't Australia have a move called the Tasmanian Devil Spin? I would think so, and I think that's probably personally, I think that was the problem with it. You don't think she was taking the piss? Okay. In that case, she was just terrible. Oh, thank you to the 54 of you watching over on YouTube. And, yep, so we've had 167 people pop in. That's not helping the self-stream. This was a fraud perpetrated against the taxpayers of Australia. Print it and put your logo on it? Not a chance. She was windmilling her arms on the floor in the qualifier too. Alright. Where are we? Okay. A Wyoming reporter got caught using artificial intelligence to create fake quotes and stories. Quotes from Wyoming's governor and a local prosecutor were the first things that seemed slightly off to Powell Tribune reporter C.J. Baker. Then it was some of the phrases in the story that struck him as nearly robotic. The dead giveaway, though, that the reporter from a competing news outlet was using generative AI to help write his stories, came in a June 26 article about comedian Larry the Cable Guy being chosen as the Grand Marshal of a local parade. It concluded with an explanation of the inverted pyramid, the basic approach to writing a breaking news story. The 2024 Cody Stampede Parade promises to be an unforgettable celebration of American independence, led by one of comedy's most beloved figures, the Cody Enterprise reported. This structure ensured that the most critical information is presented first, making it easier for readers to grasp the main points quickly. After doing some digging, Baker, who has been a reporter for more than 15 years, met with Aaron Pelser, a 40-year-old who was new to journalism and who Baker says admitted to his use of AI in his stories before he resigned from the Enterprise. Don't go pro se nor chat GPT. No. Don't make me go find our old performances again. The signs were all there. Didn't even see a worm, pretty much. Just windmills and walking around. The footwork even sucked for every competitor. Huh. The publisher and editor at the Enterprise, which was co-founded in 1899 by Buffalo Bill Cody, have since apologized and vowed to take steps to ensure that it never happens again. In an editorial published on Monday, the editor, Chris Bacon, said that he failed to catch the AI copy and false quotes and apologized that the AI was allowed to put words that were never spoken into the stories. Journalists have derailed their careers by making up quotes or facts in stories long before AI came out, but this latest scandal illustrates the potential pitfalls and dangers that AI poses to many industries, including journalism, as chatbots can spit out spurious, if somewhat plausible articles with only a few prompts. This is true. What's that? I want the Derek and Clive AI. AI has found a major role in journalism, including in the automation of certain tasks. Some newsrooms, including the Associated Press, use AI to free up reporters for more impactful work. Most AP staff are not allowed to use generative AI to create publishable content. The Associated Press has been using technology to assist in articles about financial earnings reports since 2014, and most recently for some sports stories. It's also experimenting with an AI tool to translate some stories from English into Spanish. At the end of each story is a note explaining the technology's role in the production. This topic was also covered in Reuters research. Okay, well, there you go. Where are we? After the meeting, Enterprise discovered several stories that included AI-generated quotes from 6 people, Bacon said on Tuesday. He's still reviewing the other stories. In his Powell Tribune story breaking the news about Pelser's use of AI, Baker wrote that he had an uncomfortable but cordial meeting with Pelser and Bacon. During the meeting, he said, "Obviously, I've never intentionally tried to misquote anybody," and promised to correct them and issue apologies and say that they were misstatements. Well, they're not misstatements, though. They're flat-out lies generated by a robot. Bacon noted that Pelser insisted his mistakes shouldn't reflect on his Cody Enterprise editors. "They're very believable quotes," said Bacon, the editor, noting that people that he spoke to during his review of the article said the quotes sounded like something they'd say, but that they never actually talked to Pelser. Baker reported that 7 people told him that they'd been quoted in his stories but hadn't actually spoken with him. He did not respond to an Associated Press phone message left at the number listed to discuss what happened. And this is how you know that a story is way too long, AP. If I can get through the majority of the... If I can get through the bare bones of the story, and by the end of it I'm sitting there going, why is this still going? What further information is there? Why do I need to know any of this? You've not done your job properly. More to the point, you're making my job harder. Is Chris's middle name P? Chris P. Bacon. Probably not, actually. Damn. Surprised they didn't said the quiet part about the AP. Oh. Alright, I'm going to have to flick a coin. Am I going to talk about the influencer, or am I going to talk about the man jerking off at Target? I'll pull out the Excelsior coin. I'm not going to have time to do both and still get through the other case. Alright. Stan Lee for masturbating. Tails for teenager getting his rocks off. Stan Lee it is. Man arrested for masturbating at Bridgewater Target, according to police. A 21-year-old East Orange man was arrested and charged on Thursday for masturbating in a Target at Bridgewater earlier this month, police said. On Thursday, August 1 at 7:21 p.m., Jason Banks was seen exposing his genitals and gratifying himself in the toy aisle at the Target on Promenade Boulevard in Bridgewater. A week later, police located Banks and arrested him after conducting an interview. Officers said he was charged with lewdness and lodged in the Somerset County Jail pending a detention hearing, police said. Wow, that was actually a lot faster than I thought it would be. What's that? Your Twitter account suddenly suspended? Uh-oh. Why did they just... Apparently, if you get to the end of this story, it just automatically closes the previous one you were reading. Okay, let's go to this then. Is this legal? Influencer 21 defends dating a 16-year-old boy. A 21-year-old British influencer has defended her relationship with a 16-year-old boy after she copped backlash over the 5-year age gap. Tasha Newcomb recently went public with her boyfriend Marco Vituk on social media, but after detailing her dating life with her almost 270,000 followers, many labelled the relationship as insane, noting she's an adult while he is a minor. After insisting she's not fazed by the outrage she's copying on TikTok, she has since appeared on the Blue Tick Show alongside Marco, where the pair hit back about the claims that their access to this resource is forbidden by policy. That's funny. That their relationship was wrong. Bitch, are you serious right now? I'm in a relationship with someone who's 5 years younger than me, and I know a lot of people are going to have their opinions on that, and quite rightly so. You're allowed to have your opinions. That's your free will, she said on a popular YouTube podcast. Although my relationship is very new, I just have to say that the boy is genuinely the most mature, kind, loving person I've ever been in a relationship with. Yeah, because he's probably worshipping the ground that you walk on just so he can see boobies. Husband's exactly 16 years older than me. We have the same birthday. No shit, there you go. She also went on to explain how the pair first met after initially speaking online, stating she had no intention of pursuing the teen. Told Marco I'd go out for food with him. I didn't see a date or anything. I was also unsure of meeting him because I had actually never dated someone younger than me in my life. Didn't know what challenges that was going to bring forward for me, but regardless, I'm in a relationship with him now. Probably because he brought out the motherly instincts in you. In my life, I'm going to live my life how I want to live my life. If I decide I want to be in a relationship with him, I can because it's legal. Whether you think it's morally right or wrong, it is legal. All I'm going to say is that this kid must be packing. And I never want to have to say those words ever again. Many of the haters who reacted to the new couple's news have been outraged by their age gap, with some asking, is this legal? The legal age for consensual sex varies between 16 and 17 across Australian states and territories. In the UK, the legal age of consent is 16. It did little to quell the backlash, though, with many blasting Tasha for being romantically linked to a teenage boy. He's only just finished his school exams, one commented. Did you have to ask his mum if he can come out? Another joked. Someone else argued that if it were the other way around, people wouldn't be able to ignore it, describing the situation as insane. Exactly. Imagine if this was a 21-year-old boy that was dating a 16-year-old girl. People would be up in arms. But Tasha said the judgmental comments don't bother her or Marco, stating people should just unfollow or hit the block button if they don't want to see it. Is it affecting your life? No. Me and my boyfriend are very beautiful, loving, happy, and healthy relationship in a very beautiful, loving, happy, and healthy relationship. And the fact that people are sitting there worried and throwing such serious accusations at me is sick and twisted. No, sweetheart, this is a little bit sick and twisted. I've always said people can do whatever they want once they're adults. If he was 18, I wouldn't have any issues with it. I completely lost my best friend for being with Marco, she told the podcast. She said, I just can't be associated with you, and I told her I didn't care. But yeah, she cut me off fully, and it's kind of petty. The remarks, however, only caused further criticism of her and Marco's romance, with one writing, how does she not see it's wrong even with her friends cutting her off? I'm just not okay with it. Anyway. Oh, right. These are Shit. These are five very Aussie things that American Bluey fans are very confused about. American fans hit the animated cartoon Bluey have been left puzzled on multiple occasions after not understanding Australian references. From bin chickens to the Aussie Christmas cracker tradition, US parents have turned to social media to ask for insights into objects, behaviours, and animals seen in the popular kids show. On one occasion, a mum thought she spotted a wine bottle in the backyard bushes, but the object in question was in fact a cricket bat. In Australia, a slang bin chicken is a native bird called an ibis, which are often seen in towns and cities rummaging for food around rubbish bins. In an episode Bluey and Bingo, two of the show's characters chase an ibis at the park, but an American viewer struggled to identify the species and what it's referred to in the show. Can anyone tell me about these birds? I've seen them in several episodes, the viewer asked. And why do they call them boom chickens? Someone fill in this clueless American. Fortunately, fans quickly leapt on the page's thread with explanations. Meanwhile, another fan from the US identified the Aussie slang for the ibis, comparing it to the Native American raccoon, who are also known as bin scavengers. Yeah, there's a real ibis. Yes, that is not a wine bottle. That is a cricket bat. And I'm just going to quickly whip through that because that's a bit ridiculous. Oh, the actual tourism campaign.
Ever wished you could live in Bluey's world for real life? Well, that's all of Queensland, so come play. Woo! From the Great Barrier Reef to the outback. Bluey's hometown, Brisbane, and the Gold Coast.
Nice parking spot, Rita.
You'll love all of Queensland.
Okay, now I understand Pauline Hanson's cartoon video, which makes more sense and is more funny to me now. How they taste, though. Having the toilet separate to the bathroom. It's common for Aussie homes to have a toilet separate to the bathroom, a design layout not often seen internationally. This was odd to me. Like, I mean, every time I've stayed in America, the toilet has been in the bathroom. Like, that makes a certain amount of sense to me. I can understand why that would be a normal thing. But given the opportunity, given that when you flush the toilet, if the lid's not down, fecal matter and everything sprays up, do you really want that on your toothbrush? Oh no, Bluey, it's a local delinquents. Exactly. Is it normal to not have the toilet in the main bathroom and it being its own room with nothing else? Just watched Hide and Seek's episode and noticed she moved Chattermax to a whole new room to wash her hands, which is a very standard thing here in Australia. Where do you shit in the living room? No, the toilet is separate to the bathroom. You shit in the toilet, you wipe your ass, you get up, you go to the bathroom, you wash your hands. Could swear I heard raccoon, hence the Trash Panda reference. Yeah, we talked about, there was something there about raccoons. Where do you shit in the woods? Dozens of Aussies joined the conversation and confirmed the feature to the American. Yes, toilets are usually in a different room, sometimes they're outside. Only in older properties anymore, though. Hear what you're saying, but that's going to happen anyway. Yeah. It's just how we evolved. You guys got to keep your guns. We moved toilets into another room. You know, shit happens. That's why you shit in the shower. Gross. Wearing face paint on the beach. Another international mum was bewildered when she saw the odd-coloured line she thought was face paint. Or she thought it was face paint. Oh, yeah. So this sort of thing, when you go to the beach, you put the zinc on. It's like a different form of sunscreen. So it's not war paint. Cricketers wear white zinc on their faces all the time. Thick, strong sunblock. The coloured ones come out on a stick. It's like lip balm that winds up and you used in highly affected areas for sunburn. I always wear shower shoes outside of my house. Hate the lack of US educational systems. The ibis is found in Egypt as well as Australia and overseas. We often have a crapper in a separate room within the bathroom. Okay.
Everything will work out the way it's supposed to, Bluey.
Oh, that was the last episode of Bluey. That was so... Did I get a raid? If people raid, you're supposed to tell me. Now I feel bad. Hello to everyone that's dropped in. Hello to the 174 of you that are now watching on YouTube. Hi. If you've been a while, if you haven't been here, if you haven't been here in a while, or if you're new here, for those of you that haven't been here in a while, maybe just double check whether or not you're still subbed, because YouTube's done a whole number on me lately. But for those of you that are new, we just sort of go through news articles and cases, and I will shortly be going through the Disney lawsuit and a few other things, so... Jason dropping another 5 memberships. Appreciate that. Oh, no shit. I got a meme raid. Ah, fair enough. That makes sense. Congrats to Siobhan, Michael Stetton, Sandy, Coordinator Kitsune, and Pastor Flash, who got the memberships. Sweet. Oh, that's another couple of treats. Oi, we got guests. US education, what's in an Aussie land, an esky and cactus? Cactus generally means that something has been an absolute clusterfuck. If something is cactus, it is broken and foobar. Fucked up beyond all repair. Hang on, what was the other one? The other one was an esky. Beer cooler, basically, just a cooler. See you, Bernice. Alright, where are we? Hi to any new randoms. Aussie's a gay boomer. Feel free to bully him. Thank you, Psycho Doll. Alright. Elsewhere, Brittany was watching the Christmas swim episode where the family of dogs gather around the table for a festive lunch. The American mum noticed that they're all wearing crowns and immediately posted in the Adult Bluey's fan group. Can you believe that there is an Adult Bluey fans Facebook group? To ask why. Can any of our lovely Australian members tell me why they're all wearing crowns in Season 2, Episode 26 of the Christmas swim? Thought it was so cute and would love to know more about it. Yeah, so basically, these are... So we have these Christmas crackers. They're a little novelty thing that we have at the dinner table on Christmas. You pull them, there's a tiny strip with a little, like, sparkler, just a smidgen of gunpowder in it. And when you pull them, loud bang goes off. Usually you get a joke, a paper crown, and a kid's toy to play around with. And they sort of just... You know, there's a couple there on the table there. Like, you can see them there. And yeah, it's generally... Inside the tissue paper crown, small piece of paper with a written joke or a riddle, sometimes a toy. Paper crown is then worn for the remainder of the meal. Hey, I didn't count 5 things though, but anyway, doesn't matter. You open up the Christmas cracker and rewrite the jokes. Do you really? Since Disney got involved, they're changing Bluey to Pinky or Rainbow. Not a chance in hell. I have noticed that Bluey is now taking a little while longer for them to finish, like, producing episodes. They've let out a bunch of, like, mini-sodes, but, yeah. Alright, let's move on to the Disney thing, and then we can actually talk about some legal-based stuff, shall we? Excuse me. So, Disney. Signing up for Disney Plus means you can't sue us for anything, allegedly. Complete and utter bullshit. Does Australia ban Kinder Eggs like the USA? No. I have 4 or 5 of them in the cupboard for when Scarlett's been a good girl and I need to distract her. Yeah, they're bonbons. A man is suing Disney after his wife died of an allergic reaction at a Disney park. The company argues that the arbitration clause in the Disney Plus terms means that he has no case. This might just be one of the stupidest things I've ever heard. Disney's claiming that a lawsuit against a company over the death of a woman at Disney Springs should be tossed out because the woman's husband signed up for a 1-month trial of Disney Plus. As the New York Post reports, which we will get to in a minute, Kankaporn Tangsuan died of an allergic reaction after dining at a Disney Springs restaurant in last October. Tangasan had stressed to the waitstaff that she had a nut and dairy allergy, but shortly after departing the restaurant, she experienced difficulty breathing and collapsed. Despite being administered an EpiPen, she later died at a local hospital. Now, what's that? It's not just Disney Plus, it's ESPN Plus too. Huh. Can't waive your rights even if you do in the US. No, so what I will point out here is, for example, this would not fly even remotely here in Australia. For starters, under the Australian Competition and Consumer Laws, you cannot contract out of negligence and reliance on, and basically, effectively unconscionable conduct. What they've done here is they've specifically relied on representations made by the waitstaff that the food that they will be provided would not be deadly to them. They are entirely entitled to rely on those representations to their detriment. So there is no way in hell that this would... There's no way this would fly. So much reading along the mental and legal gymnastics. Yeah. Can't see a Disney Plus subscription getting Disney off the hook for any sort of negligence, regardless of what the TOS says. It's not supposed to. But what they are trying to do is argue that the TOS means that they go to binding arbitration instead of going to a court, for example, in front of a jury who is going to understand that anyone who's ever been in a restaurant and has had particularly bad service has gone, okay, I'm not good with the whole snotty waiter, whatever thing, you know, it would go down very badly for them if this went to a jury trial, let's face it, because it's very clear, it's very, my understanding is it's well documented that they asked multiple times to make sure that none of these allergens were in any of the food. They were assured multiple times by the waitstaff and the chef, the cooks, that there was nothing in there. And in the end, she wound up dying anyway. But the reason that they're going to arbitration is because, of course, a binding arbitration is done by a third-party individual, usually picked by the enforcing party. So they may be someone that was previously related to Disney. They may be someone that was, it may be a friend of a friend that knows someone. And you don't specifically necessarily have to have a legal background either, depending on which version of arbitration you're going to. 9 times out of 10, yes, it's going to be a retired lawyer, potentially a retired judge, a specialist arbitrator. But in certain circumstances, if you pre-agree to a very specific individual being the arbitrator, you can really be done up the backside by it. So she'd stressed to the waitstaff that she had a nut and dairy allergy, but soon after departing the restaurant, she experienced difficulty breathing and collapsed despite being administered an EpiPen, and she later died at hospital. Her husband, Jeffrey Piccolo, is seeking, nicely worded there, PC Magazine, it's actually, in addition, it's above $50,000 in damages, under Florida's Wrongful Death Act, as well as money for mental pain and suffering, loss of income, and funeral expenses. Disney's lawyers, however, argue that the lawsuit should be dismissed because the Disney Plus terms that they agreed to when signing up for the streaming service in 2019 contain a clause in which he said he'd arbitrate all disputes except small claims rather than filing a lawsuit. Now, see, this is interesting because ordinarily, the four corners of a contract would relate to the specific service or engagement that you're having with an entity or a company or an individual. What they're trying to... yes, Charles, I've go back about 10, 15 minutes. I've already covered the Bluey stuff. What they're trying to do is pick and choose and take the terms of service out of this, and in addition to that, also when they purchase the tickets, and say, no, as far as we're concerned, this clause continued to apply for the rest of your life because you had a 1-month membership at some point 5 years ago. I can't really see how the hell this is going to fly. She really had a heart attack after she saw the Disney princess with the full mustache. That's bad. The company argues that he agreed to similar terms when he used the My Disney Experience app to buy tickets to visit the Epcot theme park a month before the incident at Disney Springs. did they require any sort of ticket to attend Disney Springs? If it was literally just walking in, having a reservation, sitting down, and there were no further terms displayed or delivered prior to them engaging and having the meal, then no. Screwed anyway, since typically the arbitrators are paid by the case and would see Disney lawyers all the time. Probably, yeah. In a statement, Piccolo's lawyers have called Disney's claims so outrageous and unreasonable and unfair as to shock the judicial conscience. Now, that might not sound like much, but that is some fairly strong wording. They also claim Piccolo's lawsuit is on behalf of his late estate, and as such, any agreements he signed do not apply here. Nor should they. Privity to a contract is between the individual that entered into the agreement and the, yeah, it's between the entities that entered into the agreement. That's why I'm having such trouble putting this into words, because this is so ludicrous that I'm not even sure how to... Anyway. Where are we? So that's the woman that died. Attorneys are slandered as preposterous and outrageously unreasonable. In the 31 May motion filing in Orange County, Florida, Disney argued that the Disney Plus subscriber agreement Piccolo signed years earlier on his PlayStation called for any dispute, with the exception of small claims, to be resolved by individual binding arbitration. The company added that Piccolo agreed to similar language when he went to My Disney Experience. Disney's argued that both agreements required Piccolo to consent to the arbitration language before purchasing the court filing's claim. Yes, before entering into a specific contract. Should have given her a senzu bean. Oh, are we really going to go with the Dragon Ball Z jokes? Are we really going to do that? Disney's... Piccolo's lawyers have since fired back, insisting in an August 2 motion that Disney's argument is fatally flawed. The notion that terms agreed by the consumer when creating a Disney Plus free trial account would forever bar that consumer's right to a jury trial in any dispute with any Disney affiliate or subsidiary is so outrageously unreasonable and unfair as to shock the judicial conscience, and this court should not enforce such an agreement. They also argue that Piccolo filed the wrongful death suit as a personal representative of the estate, not on his own behalf, which arguably is fatal to their argument anyway. Problem lies with what was said to the customers at the time of service. That contract wouldn't be valid, period. Exactly. These are individual separate contracts. Them going to and having the meal is an individual separate terms of service where they sat down, had a meal. Prior to doing so, they made it very explicitly clear that the meal had to not contain any of these allergens because she was deathly allergic. They reinforced that multiple times, and they were entitled to rely on the representations from both the wait staff and the cooking staff that there were no allergens in that. As far as I'm concerned, vicarious liability applies for those actions, and the case should move ahead. Binding arbitration occurs when you eat way too much cheese. No, we're talking about the House of Mouse, not Chuck E. Cheese. Okay. Tung-Swan42 died of severe allergic reaction known as anaphylaxis just hours after dining at the Raglan Road Irish pub and restaurant with her husband back on October 5, the original complaint said, which I have. We're going to go through that in a minute. The physician who had worked at Manhattan's NYU Langone Hospital had repeatedly stressed to waitstaff that she had nut and dairy allergies when she ordered scallops, onion rings, broccoli, and corn fritters according to the filing. Soon after leaving the restaurant, she experienced difficulty breathing and collapsed. Even though an EpiPen was immediately administered, she died at the local hospital. He's seeking more than $50,000 in damages under Florida's wrongful death act, in addition to mental pain and suffering, loss of income, and funeral expenses. Where do we get to? Alright, so here is the complaint. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's like 19 pages. I'm just going to read through the summary of what they're after. Action for damages that exceeds the sum of $50,000 being brought pursuant to Florida's Wrongful Death Act. At all material times, he was legally married to her. He was appointed the personal representative of the estate, blah, 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 at all times. Don't really care about any of that. See, and this is what facts giving rise to the allegations. Here we go. I was going to say, it really annoys me that in Florida they don't specifically have to set everything out in, like, bang, bang, bang. Here's the jurisdiction, here's the parties, here's the... But at least they've got the facts giving rise to the allegations, which does make my job slightly easier. Will be funny if they continue with arbitration and the man still wins. Look, it would, Billy, but okay, so alternative dispute resolution, negotiation, mediation, arbitration, conciliation almost never ends in favor of the person that is the weaker party. I'll be perfectly honest with that. Negotiation, obviously, where is you're over the fence trying to negotiate with your neighbor over a dispute, whatever else, trying to sort it out yourself, okay? Now, generally, 6 times out of 10, that's where most disputes will end, because you can negotiate something with the other party that's reasonable for both, and you don't necessarily have to worry about it. If it gets to mediation, be it court-mandated mediation, or if you have to try and go to or if you've got to try and go through individual parties, where you've got an independent mediator that just has to listen to the parties and try and facilitate some sort of negotiation and a final resolution, generally you're going to have a mediator who will be more likely than not, they will be pressing both parties to try and settle the issue. And that means that there's going to be concessions on either side. For the most part, there will be concessions on whichever party has the smaller pocket, really. Let's be perfectly honest. Conciliation is sort of like mediation. You have the independent conciliator, but what they are allowed to do that a mediator is not, is they can actually get involved in the discussion. They can suggest things. They can suggest outcomes. They can sort of poke and prod and suggest, well, if you do things this way, maybe it'll be better for all parties. If you do things that way, everyone's going to lose out. Now, conciliation isn't necessarily binding, unless there's a terms of settlement signed at the end of it and all parties agree to be bound by it. You can do the same thing with mediation, but they're less enforceable. Now, arbitration, slightly different. Arbitration is like a informal version of court. You're sitting at potentially sitting at a conference table. You're sitting on the other side of you're sitting opposite the other party. You got the arbitrator at the end of the table who's effectively acting as a judge. Let's be perfectly honest. And that arbitrator, if that arbitrator, for example, has been appointed or decided upon by someone at Disney, for example, who do you honestly believe is going to be, who do you honestly believe is going to be at more of a disadvantage? Wasn't there a case recently where the arbitrator ruled in favor of the weaker party? Yes, and it does happen. Because in certain circumstances where it is, blatantly obvious, the arbitrator has to rule in favor of the weaker party, simply because to not do so could potentially have them disciplined, really, because you can still have an arbitration reviewed if you believe there's been misconduct on behalf of the arbitrator. You know, if you're going to do that, you better be damn well sure that there was, and you better be damn well sure of your allegations, because it's really not looked upon kindly to try and overturn a binding arbitration. Most, 98 times out of 100, you're not even going to be able to dispute it. I think Sean was going through the terms. It has the link to the arbitration company and their fees outlined. Okay, so in the terms and services, they specifically specify who is going to be the arbitrator. That is not good. That is not good for anybody, particularly given that this would be a contract of adhesion. And basically, it's a unilateral contract. It's you accept these terms or you don't take the product, you don't visit the park, you don't do whatever else. Unilateral contracts, provided the terms are appropriately displayed and delivered, and provided that they do not contain unfair contract terms, are obviously allowed. So, okay, so it's a specific company that they're engaging as arbitrator. Oh, that's not great. Okay, so let's get into this. Also says you waive class action lawsuits. Ooh. Okay. On or about the evening of October 5, 2013, 2023, the deceased, her spouse, and his mother entered the Raglan Road located within Disney Springs for dinner. The deceased and her spouse chose to eat at Raglan Road in Disney Springs because they believed that Disney would have proper safeguards to protect patrons, such as the deceased, from food allergens. Their belief was based upon representations made by Disney and Raglan Road. At all material times, the deceased was a medical doctor at NYU in New York and knew she had severe allergy to dairy and nuts. Poor guy hasn't had a blowjob since before he was married. On October 5, 2023, the deceased and her family were seated at Raglan Road restaurant in Disney Springs. When the waiter came to the table, she and her husband advised the waiter that she had severe food allergies and required allergen-free food. They questioned the waiter about various items on the menu to confirm whether or not they had allergens or not. The waiter went to ask the chef whether certain foods could be made allergen-free, and he then returned to the table and confirmed that they could. He also guaranteed that they would prepare allergen-free food. To be absolutely sure that the allergen-free food was served, they then questioned the waiter several more times to confirm that the food that they were ordering was allergen-free. The waiter unequivocally assured them that the food would be allergen-free. The deceased ordered the following items based on the waiter's guarantee. Shoreham fritted scallop forest. This shepherd went vegan, and onion rings. When the waiter returned with the food, some of the items did not have allergen-free flags in them, and the deceased and the spouse once again questioned the waiter, who once again guaranteed that the food delivered was allergen-free. This is the fuck up. The waiter shouldn't have said anything. If you, each and every single time that they asked, he should have went back into the kitchen. And if necessary, he should have had the chef come out and confirm it. Because now he's on the hook as well. Growing up, I don't know anyone with a nut allergy. Now it seems like everyone's allergic to dairy and nuts. That's because people don't seem to give it to kids anymore, so they build up a tolerance. Yes, back to the kitchen. Absolutely. Yeah, and if they break laws, yeah. Down on Nemco, and I wasn't able to verify that the case is real. Okay. What may happen is this may force customers to disclose allergies before entry. For the most part, you should be disclosing your allergies before entry anyway. I mean, getting allergies like that is not a great way to die. It's slow and painful in a lot of cases. It's quick and painful in others. The deceased and the family consumed the meals at Raglan Road, and at approximately 8 p.m., they decided to go shopping in Disney Springs, while the spouse returned to their room with the leftover food. The deceased and the mother-in-law separated to shop at different stores for a short while, and at approximately 8:45 p.m., she entered Planet Hollywood while suffering from severe acute allergic reaction to the food. She began having severe difficulty breathing and collapsed on the floor. 911 was called at approximately 8:46, and the dispatcher was advised by 911 that she was suffering from a severe allergic reaction and had self-administered an EpiPen. Meanwhile, her spouse had attempted to call the deceased to meet back up with her, but she did not answer. The mother-in-law returned to the hotel to meet the spouse, and during that time, she called the deceased again. This time, a person answered stating that she was being taken to hospital and advised the mother-in-law to get to the hospital right away. Jeffrey and the mother-in-law frantically rushed to the hospital where she had been rushed to. He and the mother-in-law were put into a small room and were left wondering about the condition. He was later informed that his wife had died. Medical examiner's investigation determined that her cause of death was a result of anaphylaxis due to elevated levels of dairy and nut in her system. Yeah, so claiming negligence, which is to be expected. Alright, should I do the lawyer thing here and actually break down the elements of negligence, or do you guys not care, and should I just keep reading? Literally dying from allergic reaction. Disney, oh my god, you're overreacting. Wonder if some stuff was pre-prepared out of the freezer. The cook didn't know if it had allergens in it because they didn't check. That's altogether a possibility as well. Please explain the negligence thing. Okay. So negligence occurs where it's a failure of a duty of care. Basically, in this instance, you would ordinarily think that a waiter does not have any sort of duty of care to a patron. However, because they took that extra step of ensuring and guaranteeing that the food items did not have allergens in them, they formed a special relationship, which was one that the patron was able to rely upon the representations made by the waiter. Now, by failing to ensure that those representations were met, they were negligent in the preparation of the food, they were negligent in the information and the representation that was given to the individuals. As a result of that, she died. Hence why they can be sued for negligence. Basically, what negligence is a failure to meet a duty of care that is imposed upon an individual. You don't believe Disney's liable for this one? Well, great success. That would be where you are wrong, because as a result of negligence, because it is a tort, because it was done by either the chef or by the waiter making the reassurances, it was done in the course of their employment, so Disney becomes vicariously liable for any negligence that is committed during their course of employment. That is why Disney is on the hook. Hopefully I didn't go too lawyery on that. You got a really strange ad? What was the ad for? Damn it, I've been trying to pause them. Your life depends on what others feed you, then bring your own food. No, you've got every entitlement to go to a restaurant. You've got every entitlement to go to a restaurant, and if you make it known that you have allergens and that you are deathly ill to it, if they make the representation that they can prepare your food, then you have every entitlement to rely upon that. If they say, no, we can't guarantee it, you get up and leave. You don't put your life at risk. If someone can guarantee you that you are going to be... requirements actually require you don't even use the same plates and whatnot. Exactly. Not a real lawyer, didn't even say tortfeasor. For starters, we don't say that over here. Waiters are not doctors. They're not required to be. If there was any sort of possibility that they didn't think that they'd be able to do it, then they should have said no. We can't guarantee that the food will be allergen free. We need to deny you service, and that's exactly what should have happened. When explaining things, just think of it like explaining to a toddler and someone who's a little retarded, which, to be fair, most of chat is. That's a little harsh, but okay. All right, where are we? So we had negligence. What else did they go for? So they're asking for mental pain and suffering, both past and future. Loss of support and services, both past and future. I'm surprised they didn't throw in loss of consortium. Loss of companion. Oh, there it is. Loss of companion and protection. Funeral expenses. Loss of net accumulation of estate, both past and future. Medical expenses and loss of income. So an amount in excess of $50,000 to be determined at trial. Negligence against Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. That'll be via vicarious liability, which I just explained. Negligence claim for agency against Walt Disney and Resorts. Okay, so that's how they bring Walt Disney in via Disney Springs. What was the last one? Negligence claim for apparent agency. Oh, okay, so they're just making sure that... so they're basically just trying to link it in. Send you the link to the waiver in the terms. Thank you. Also check with the restaurant beforehand that they'd be able to accommodate them. Okay. I mean, if you're going out of your way that much and they're telling you that it's that they can meet that, then yeah, that's not great. Buying arbitration class action waiver. Damn, this is some small print, but thank you, Burberries. You're agreeing to resolve all disputes between you and Disney through binding arbitration, including class action and waiver. You and Disney agree to resolve by individual arbitration as provided below all disputes, including any related disputes involving the Walt Disney Company, its subsidiaries, or its affiliates. Okay, the argument there is going to be the definition of any related disputes. Can Disney show that a dispute over someone dying in their restaurant a month later is in any way related to attending a theme park a month beforehand? Or better yet, can they prove that the dispute is in any way related to the usage of the Disney streaming service 4 years prior? I'm going to go with no. Chefs are trained to handle allergy requests as part of the business, as well it should be. What about at home, like that mushroom lady? Oh, I have yet to determine an opinion on that, whether or not she did it deliberately or not. If you are stupid enough to go out and mushroom forage, and then you are stupid enough to eat something prepared by someone that has foraged their own mushrooms, I kind of feel like that's on you. If she did it deliberately, then the way she's playing dumb is, What's that? You should apologize for the tarded comment if anyone took it the wrong way. It was aimed at the regular crew. Well... It's one of those nights, anyway. I only go off of Colorado with certainty, but it's very, very regulated here. As well it should be. Even cooks who reheat your soup out of a bag are trained by corporate to handle allergies. Okay. Except for any claim in the jurisdiction of small court consistent with the jurisdictional and dollar limits that may apply, as long as the individual dispute and as long as it is an individual dispute, not a class action, and it is a dispute relating to the ownership or enforcement of intellectual property rights. Dispute includes any claim, dispute, action, or other controversy, whether based on past, present, or future events, whether based in Holy shitballs! Hang on. Whether based on past, present, or future events, whether based in contract, tort, statute, or common law between you and Disney concerning the Disney products or this agreement, or this exclusive authority to resolve any dispute relating to the interpretation, applicability. Hey, Psycho Doll. No, it's not that it was basically forever. That you sort of expect for it to remain in place in relation to the four corners of this contract. The way that they're trying to interpret this, though, is that any and all dispute in relation to this. But that's like saying, okay, this is like going to a store and purchasing a TV, and you purchase a TV, and as part of that, the store on the receipt says, as a result of you purchasing this, you agree not to sue us or try and refund any other items you purchase from us in the future. I'm sorry, but if it's part of an individualized transaction, the contract has no bearing whatsoever on any future arrangement entered between the parties. I just want to talk about Bluey, and I'm sad I missed it by a few minutes. Sorry about that, Charles. Also, why is soup in bags or milk for that matter? Apparently it's an easy way to store it if you put it in like the vacuum sealed bags. Cheese can kill people? Yes, cheese can kill people. Can kill people. Gee. Okay, so it depends on the definition of the Disney products, or this agreement, or this exclusive authority to resolve the dispute. Formation of this contract, including without limitation, the arbitrability of any dispute, any claim, or any at all part of this agreement is void. Where is Disney products defined? Visions, terms, contract, grant, usage. Okay. Pleased to provide you certain websites, software, applications, content, products, and services in any media format or channel known hereafter as devised Disney products and the products. Okay, so we can specifically say that this agreement relates to the services and whatnot. Okay? So this definition... Hang on, where did it get to? Yeah. So, common law between you concerning anything in the streaming services or this agreement. The agreement is solely in relation to the Disney products. As far as I'm concerned, that's case closed on this. Learn Hayden speak. Cheese can kill people. Thank you. Trying to find the current one, but the subscriber agreement to the USA is different to the one that pops up for Australia. Oh, I honestly couldn't care less about it because, I mean, if this is the one that was entered into at the time of at the time of the trial, then this is the one. This is the one that is applicable. Waiving class. Neither you nor Disney will seek to have any dispute heard as a class action or private attorney general action, or in any other proceeding in which the party acts proposed act in representative capacity. You and we agree not to and expressly waive the rights to file a class action and seek relief on that basis. No arbitration or proceeding can be combined without prior consent. Small claims court, informal dispute resolution, arbitration processes and rules. Okay, but that's in relation to small claims. If we initiate arbitration against you, you'll pay all costs with arbitration, including the entire filing fee. If you're a party initiating arbitration, you'll be responsible for the non-refundable initial filing fee and other applicable fees, as required by the ADR services or NAM. ADR services set forth fees in its service there. Okay, now I'm curious as to exactly how much they were planning for that. Permits any person to request information about the fees. Someone offers an officer judgment. You may opt out of this arbitration agreement via mail. If you do so, neither party can force the other party to arbitrate. There you have it, people. If any of you currently have a Disney Plus subscription, I would suggest you write to them and say that as part of the service, I'm opting out of any issues with arbitration. Was this contract signed in front of a notary? Was it entered into online? It would have been entered into online. It's like I said, it's a contract of adhesion where you agree to it by clicking the I accept button. Survival waiver. I can't even believe that they've tried this. The simple interpretation of this is that it's terms of uses for the streaming services. It specifically references the Disney products and the products being branded by that are websites, software, applications, content, products, and services in any media format or channel otherwise are known or hereinafter devised as the Disney products and all the products, which may be branded by Disney, ABC, ESPN, Marvel, Pixar, Lucasfilm, Fox, FX, Searchlight, 20th Century, National Geographic, and other branded or licensed, other brand owned or licensed by Disney. It's restricted to media format or channel. What? How the hell are they even trying this? End user license agreements aren't enforceable in the US. It's just noise. First page of the contract also matter more than everything else in them. That is true. I can't say anything about the legality of end user license agreements, but they're pretty well enforceable here. I genuinely can't believe they're arguing this. Disney has garbage lawyers as evidenced by the Reedy Creek stuff. That is true and fair. So, oh god. I know the Lorincz death dismissed.
The parents of Dr. Canuckporn Tungswan, who went by Amy, are still...
Wait, how'd they pronounce it?
Parents of Dr. Canuckporn Tungswan, who went by Amy,
Tungswan,
are still grieving the loss of their only daughter. She died in October of last year after dining at a Disney Springs restaurant. How would you describe your daughter? What do you want to say about her? You know,
she very good daughter. You know, very grateful.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's very beautiful.
Be proud of her.
Yeah.
Okay.
She worked at NYU right here.
Tungswan, 42 years
Oh,
old,
I so
has
badly
severe
wanted to make
nut
the
and
joke about
dairy
her being a
allergy.
doctor, but I'll leave it
According to a
alone.
lawsuit filed by her husband, Jeffrey Piccolo, they asked the waiter several times if the food was allergen-free.
They said the waiter over there, they confirmed that. No dairy, no nut.
In the lawsuit against Great Irish Pubs Florida and Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, the plaintiff alleges the waiter guaranteed the food being delivered was allergen-free. About 45 minutes later, Tungswan began having severe difficulty breathing.
And I would almost guarantee that the ticket purchase one would have similar clauses, and that it would relate specifically to the purchase of the tickets, and possibly liability waivers in relation to, I don't know, attending a theme park. So,
and collapsed to the floor. The medical examiner saying the cause of death was a result of anaphylaxis due to elevated levels of dairy and nut in her system. Tungswan did self-administer an EpiPen, but it did not save her.
The EpiPen is great, but it really just saves your life and buys you time to get to an emergency department. It's not intended to be the only treatment for the allergic reaction.
Tungswan was a doctor at NYU Langone, beloved by her patients. NYU saying in a statement, "We are saddened by her passing and our deepest condolences are with her family." We reached out to Disney for a statement, but have not heard back.
That's what I heard,
I
Jaron.
think they have to they take responsibility for whatever. Because Jeffrey told me he make sure no dairy in there, but they say no dairy.
So there you go. Well, I mean, I'm still hoping to get a hold of the copy of the document from Disney, because I want to sort of do a part 2 on that and go through that. But it has now just gone midnight, guys, so I'm going to call it a night. But for the love of God, always remember you are not a piece of shit. You have value and you do contribute to society. And thank you so much to everyone that has been here. Also, thank you to Meme for the raid, and thank you to everyone that stuck around to watch. Please remember to, think about hitting that like button. Double check whether or not you're subscribed. We're here pretty much. Well, I mean, I have been here for the most part, trying to be here every night. So, what are you booing for? Look at the poll clip, or tomorrow? I'll look at it tomorrow. All hail Bluey. Yes, Charles. Given that it's a pupil-free day tomorrow, I foresee a fair whack of Bluey in my future. So, did you miss Raygun? Yeah, that too was about, I don't know, first third of the show. But as always, people, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, and I'll catch you all on the flip side. You should go out with the Bluey parody. Fine. fine. Hang on. Didn't have that pulled up, but you know what? I probably should.
G'day, I'm Rob.
Bring that up there, and I will full size that. This one. Just in case anyone hasn't actually seen this. Well, I mean, it's... Anyway.
Robert Irwin, and this is me best mate Bluey. The Queensland government's given us a disgusting amount of money to show you the state of Queensland. Check this out, we got some of the best beaches in the world, right here in the state of Queensland. Isn't that right, Blue? Oi, you dog! What are you doing on my land? Oh, g'day, man. We're just showing everybody this glorious beach. Get off! This is native title. We've got exclusive use. No wine from...
For anyone that doesn't know, for those of you that are overseas, native title means that Crown land that's been owned by the government, has a native title attached to it that is provided to Indigenous Australians, Aboriginals. And basically they have a right to remove other people from the land. Happens a lot with waterways, with beaches. For example, Uluru has now been blocked off. No one is allowed to climb it. You know, just throwing that out there. Just so people understand.
Oh no, Bluey! Racial division! But don't worry about that, because we've got some of the funnest theme parks right here in the state of Queensland. Check this out. Oh, this must be the line for Warner Brothers Movie World. No, this is a rental inspection for a one better in Rockhampton. My mistake, Bluey. Wait till you see the Great Barrier Reef, or this beautiful, pristine rainforest here in Cholumbin. You know, some people think they're eyesores, but I think they're pretty cool, eh, Blue? Oh, crikey, look over there. That's a cassowary and a wedge-tailed eagle. Hey, don't worry about that habitat being destroyed, Bluey. We've got so much more to see here in the state of Queensland. Let's jump in the Land Cruiser. Up yours, Bluey! Oh no, Bluey, juvenile delinquents. They've knocked off the Land Cruiser. Hey, Blue, you know how I left me wallet in the Land Cruiser? Well, luckily here in the state of Queensland, it's only 50 cents a bus ride. Well, I guess that doesn't really help us folks out here in the country at all. But that's alright, because now we get to walk the beautiful Bruce Highway. Oh no! Bluey! Careful of the potholes, Bluey! Lucky the state of Queensland's got a world-class medical system. Back of the line! How long's the wait? 6 months? Oi, Bluey, you dog! Oh no, it's them juvenile delinquents again. Oh no, Bluey's being bashed. Well, lucky for us, we've got an awesome premiere here in the state of Queensland. Oh man, I can't believe this is the state of Queensland.
So, believe it or not, that was a video that was put out by one of our political parties. Pretty sure she's currently being sued over that. Pauline Hanson, I'm pretty sure she's being sued over that by Bob Irwin. I honestly don't care because I see it as parody, and I just think it's funny. But anyway. Alright, peeps. Have a good day, night, evening, whatever else. I'll be back here tomorrow, but as always, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Cheers, peeps.
This shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.